12. It was on the 7th day of Shangha that the sky turned twilight purple and the air smelled strongly of lavender. Overhead scorched golden comets trailing violet fire. The masters and guests of Lord Mriga's temple assembled on the front lawn in prostration, Mriga, Ursula, and the other high masters at the head of the gathering. Wild flames appeared before them, rising to the height of many palaces. From the flames stepped the 17 representatives of the Devon sub-territories, their aides trailing behind. Finally, from the 5 levitated Her Holiness Theodora, the newly elected High Priestess of the Devon Union. She presented as a snowy owl with eyes of blue burning opals and a beak of jade. Her robe was partly a 4-dimensional fabric, visible, invisible, visible again. Written intricately in moksha dye across her brow were the 18 precepts of compassion and 9 founding truths of the world. Mriga said, "My lady, congratulations on your appointment to the head of the Golden Council. May I take this opportunity to—" Theodora extended a bejeweled wing of greeting. Mriga extended a hoof to meet it, then paused. The wing was intended for Ursula. "13. The welcoming ceremony was concluded, and a banquet began in the temple for all 700 devas. Mriga and Ursula were seated at the head table, Theodora between them. Many delicacies were presented, truffles in lotus leaves, moksha-infused tea, xenon wine. Ursula noticed that the purplish meat Mriga had seemed so enamored of days earlier made no appearance. When all were fed and full of drink, initiates filled the room with moksha incense, and several minutes of meditation elapsed. Finally, all irises hexagonal, all high minds enriched, Mriga said to Theodora, "What of the inner territories, madam?" "They are well," Theodora said. "Several thousand worlds have been settled in the last year alone. New temples are being built as we speak. There is no civil war." "Exquisite. And what of your world, Lord Mriga?" "All is excellent. We are exporting more moksha to the inner territories than ever before, and as you will see from the scriptural libraries, my scholars are making first-rate theological progress." Politer. "Madam, your visit is an honor, though I believe everyone is curious as to its motive." "Motive, my lord? You make it sound a scheme." "I misspeak. Let me rephrase. This is the first time a head of the Golden Council has graced Shangha with their presence in over a millennium and a half. A good leader breaks with the conventions of the past." Theodora idly nibbled a feather. "In truth, I received a summary of Lady Ursula's work on the Bivnik effect, and was rather inspired to learn of it in greater detail. It appears I have arrived too late to attend her lecture, and her lecture was cut short, I hear, by some pressing matter of your own, Lord Mriga." Needles danced in Ursula's stomach. Was she driving a wedge? Ursula said, "I will answer any questions you have, my lady." Mriga said, "With respect, this Bivnik effect still has nothing to recommend it beyond the speculation of the, frankly, irreligious scholars of Gerhardt University. Moreover, your previous occupation was an artist, Lady Theodora. Do you think yourself qualified to judge such erudite imaginings?" Theodora said in echoing vexed speech, "I am no scientist, sir, but venerable scholar Ursula is." Several tables nearby quietened to a murmur. Ursula said gently, "Much thanks for the interest, my lady. Well, it is as reported to you. Many accuse Gerhardt University of stoking the flames of fear, but the calculations do not lie. Without intervention, the Devon Union will collapse inside of 1,000 years, we believe. You claim certainty of this? Lord Lepus and I believe we have shown mathematically that any system replicating without sufficient limit conditions will eventually devour all resources in a finite space. Our interstellar society is no exception. The entire galaxy will dwindle if we continue on our current path. Mriga purred. Exactly, madam. We have an entire galaxy. Ursula waited a respectful moment and countered. I refer, my lord, to the study of exponential growth. There are many hundreds of thousands of unsettled worlds at present, yes, but as the rate of our expansion increases, it will compound upon itself. I would be only too happy to show you the mathematical formalisms. Mariga said, though Scholar Ursula gives little credence to spirituality, it appears she is trying to found her own religion. Ursula counted to 10 mentally and attempted to smile. She said, the Devon Union thrives because its citizens can travel very quickly across space in Vex. Its citizens can travel in Vex because of moksha. The moksha-based materials are produced from stars, and the extraction process depletes stars at over 10,000 times their normal rate of decline. Lord Mriga, please tell me if I have made a misstep so far. Mriga said, I take issue with your reductionist assumption that... Theodora put up a wing. My lady, please continue. Ursula said, Madam, are you aware of the species of animal called bivnik? I am not. Bivniks are horse-like creatures native to Gerhardt, my world. They sport a single tusk from their snouts. The tusk grows in a circular fashion, looping from the nose back around to the forehead. Each bivnik has a patch of cartilage under its chin, and they spend much time using it to file each other's tusks down. However, if a bivnik separates from the pack either by misadventure or curiosity, his tusk will soon grow unhindered. Within weeks it will loop around and pierce his own brain. Theodora said, I believe I see the metaphor. Our civilization's tusk is not far from its forehead now. Furthermore, Lord Lepus and I suspect it is not just resource depletion we have to worry over. The Devon Union is developing spiritual technologies at a faster rate than ever before, thanks to your predecessors' educational policies, but each technology gives rise to a new need, and each new need requires a new technology to satisfy it. Such as, my lady? Moksha, for example. Given to us by the Golden One himself, it allowed for our ability to step into four-dimensional space, to remold matter and to expand our society. However, as I'm sure you're aware, many scholars have embarked on the quest for jhana moksha. She cast a neutral glance at Mriga. Theodora said, I regret I have only just assumed my role as High Priestess. I'm still ignorant of many of the particulars of the Devon Union. Ursula said, Jhana moksha is a supposed enrichment of moksha that would allow entrance to a fifth dimension of spatial freedom, above the fourth we utilize in Vex. Truly, it sounds a blessing. Potentially. One could step from world to world in minutes, not weeks. One could remold matter by the planet, not the gram. But new needs might arise from this that we cannot imagine at present. For one thing, such instantaneous travel would mean we would inevitably colonize worlds faster, increasing the speed of the bivnik effect also. Theodora said, Though you claim this jhana moksha is but a theoretical substance. Mriga murmured, For a technology so mystical, venerable scholar Ursula certainly talks as though she has perfected it already. Ursula watched her anxiety until it became an icicle that she snapped off from her mind. She said, That is but a rumor, though it seems Lord Mriga has quite a fascination with the substance also. Mriga turned to Ursula and fixed her with a blank stare. My interest is compassionate in nature. Like you, I should like to save the Devon Union from itself. Only I believe in progress, not crawling back into the ignorant dark of our ancestors. And as to the rumors that Gearhart University has perfected Jana Moksha already, simply rumors, Ursula said. If Lady Ursula were keeping technological secrets from the Golden Council, that would be a serious infraction. Technically, it is called, I believe, high treason. Theodora said, Lady Ursula is one of the founders of the Devon Union, Lord Mriga, as are you. I have no reason to think she would withhold information in that fashion. Mriga said, But of course, and bowed deeply. The celebrations continued. Masters and initiates danced about the hall, levitating, waltzing through Vex. When Mriga left the table to perform a blessing, Theodora bent her head to Ursula and said quietly, I would like all the data you have on this Bivnik effect of yours. Of course, my lady. Have it transmitted directly to my temple on Phoebe, and if this Jana Moksha myth turns out to have more weight to it than you claim, I should like your findings on that also. Madam, there is no truth to the rumors. Theodora bowed. If you give me your word, I shall accept it. 14. A horn blare rang out at sunrise in the village of Hisaria. As Chief Eno's personal aide, it fell to Johannes to meet the call. He jumped into his best clothes and ran to the village square. Chief Eno was waiting for him in ceremonial robes. They set off for the village boundary, side by side. The village folk remained in their yurts, as was the custom, but surely all would be awake now, straining to overhear whatever came next. When Chief Eno and Johannes reached the village boundary, Johannes whispered, What is there for Lord Mriga to inspect? We won't complete the new harvest cycle for another month. Chief Eno said, His ways are mysterious. From the high grass rose two antlers and two large brown ears, Lord Mriga emerging with a bear in tow. Chief Eno bowed, swallowing his astonishment. Johannes quickly remembered to bow also. Venerable Lord Mriga, Chief Eno said, we are honored as always. Mriga said, My blessings. This is Venerable Scholar Ursula. She is visiting my world on account of a holy festival. I thought I might take this opportunity to acquaint her with your culture. An honor beyond words, Chief Eno said and bowed to Ursula. May I offer you both tea? The four of them traipsed towards the meeting lodge. Johannes attempted to meet Ursula's eyes, but she kept them averted. Inside the meeting lodge, and the natives and devas sat. The natives on low chairs, the devas on cushions. Two busy children poured milk tea into ceremonial cups and exited. Lord Mriga slurped at his tea a while, then said finally, The village appears in good order. The paths are clean and the houses well maintained. Thank you, my lord, Chief Eno said. Johannes tried to catch Ursula's gaze again. Mriga said, It has been reported to me that the last moksha harvest was of adequate quantity and quality. We are very pleased. That is a joy to hear. Mriga licked the tea about his mouth with a thin and slow tongue. He reached into his robe and mouthed a necklace bearing a morphing charm and laid it on the table. Johannes's heart began beating in thumping couplets. Mriga said formally, It was communicated to me several days ago by parchment, courtesy of yourself, Chief Eno, that this Devon artifact had been discovered in your village, a ceremonial piece. The original owner has not been found, nor the native thief who acquired it. Clearly to Johannes. Chief Eno thought it proper to inform me of the matter at once, and I am indebted to his quick thinking. The charm morphed silently on the table. Johannes's heart palpitated. Mriga said, "Either the piece was stolen by a native or gifted to them. Both possibilities present a problem. If it was stolen, then an intruder gained access to my temple somehow, and we need to know by what method. If it was gifted, then we are looking at a clear breach of the caste arrangement." Mriga turned his black gaze on Chief Eno. "Do you have any suspicions regarding who acquired the piece?" Chief Eno said, "Regrettably, I do not, my lord." "And your assistant?" Johannes shook his head. "I do not, my lord." Mriga said, "Your village is one of the most productive on my world, and I am fond of its peoples. I would prefer not to grow unfond of it." He left that in the air a while, and mouthed the necklace back into his robe. "Sin is the cousin of ignorance, and it is doubtless only ignorance that committed this crime. Surely no native would intentionally endanger his or her own community. Moreover, my temple is celebrating the festival of Shangha, and this is no time for retribution. In the interest of diplomacy, I am willing to overlook the matter." He leaned across the table and gazed slowly from Chief Eno to Johannes. "However, if it should happen again, or anything else of the sort, I will demand lives in exchange for justice." "Certainly, my lord," Chief Eno said. "Certainly, my lord," Johannes said. The natives bowed. The devas bowed. All stood and smashed their cups on the floor in accordance with the meeting custom. The natives accompanied the devas back to the village boundary. Mriga said, "I thank you once again for your hard work this harvest." The devas turned about. The antlers and brown ears disappeared slowly into the high grass. Johannes wanted to vomit and lie down. He said, "If there is nothing else, sir, I'd like to get to work on sharpening the tools for the next harvest cycle." Chief Eno said, "Of course, but will you accompany me to my house a moment? I've a few things to fetch for the day." They crossed the village, ignoring the many folk peering excitedly from their windows. Once inside the yurt, Chief Eno shut the door. He said, "That book on the high shelf, the edicts, do you see it?" "Yes, sir." "Fetch it for me, won't you?" Johannes fetched the book. Chief Eno searched for a page. "Curse it, my eyes aren't what they used to be. My glasses are in the lowest pouch of my robe. Get them for me, won't you?" Johannes bent for the chief's robe. Chief Eno brought the book down on Johannes's head. Johannes collapsed. The chief smacked Johannes with his cane, smacked him again, kicked him in the ribs. Johannes scurried back into a corner. The chief's eyes were wide and spit was webbed between his bad teeth. He said, "Much to my amazement, you are even more stupid than you look." He threw the cane at Johannes. Johannes dodged. Chief Eno brandished the book. "What are these?" he yelled. "Please," Johannes whimpered. "What are these?" "The edict, sir." "And what is the first? What is the very first edict?" "Natives shall not interfere with matters, Devon." Chief Eno spat on Johannes. "And the second?" In a whisper, "Natives shall not possess or covet Devon objects." "Then why, Johannes, did I, from under your bed, procure a magic item such that belonged to the gods themselves?" "Sir, I'm sorry. Chief Eno launched the book. Johannes shielded his face. He was bleeding from the lip and forehead now, his left eye gummed up with blood, his right eye bloodshot. "I might have told Mriga the whole story were we not short on farmers of late," Chief Eno said. He bent to Johannes on shaking legs. He presented his pocked cheek, large parts of it black with death. Forcibly he took Johannes's hand and rubbed it over the crater's pox. He said, When I was young, an idiot in my village laid with a deva. News of it got out somehow. We enjoyed 10 years of the Luda disease for that, the wrath of the gods. It killed my parents and brother. It killed hundreds. He choked out. We have no weapons but our obedience. In return for that obedience, we will be rewarded with peacetimes and food and lineages. He spat on Johannes again. I saw you going off in the evenings. I knew your game. I searched your house and was right to. He pressed Johannes's hand further into the pox of his cheek, all deathly dried, calcified skin. Your mother's dying wish was that I take care of you. I intend to honor that request unless it threatens the village. Today you did threaten the village. You do it again, and I will end you, Johannes. I will see you burned before the whole village, bound to a pyre and incinerated like the phoenix of old, and you shan't rise from the ashes. And the ashes will be buried in the lowest, driest, most dead and forsaken lands, and your name and ancestry will be buried with the ashes. Do you understand? Johannes nodded many times. The chief spat on him once more and wiped his mouth. He collected his cane and left. Johannes slumped to the floor. He listened to his own strained breathing a long time. He cried very quietly to himself, and the tears mixed with his blood and were made pink. Through a blood-gummed eye he observed the murals and mottos of the Devon Union etched on the ceiling of the yurt. A great deer stared down from the center. Its antlers were high, its robe was opulent. Its gaze was hexagonal and absolute. 15. Johannes spent 2 days in his yurt, coming out only at night to take a little food from the village store. His nose was pointing too far left. Several large glasses of whiskey, and he snapped his nose back into place, the bone grating and the pain so fierce it blinded him temporarily. His ribs were bruised but not broken, he decided. The shame would take the longest to heal. On the 3rd day he emerged from his yurt. Folk stared openly at his black and blue face. He went to work in the moksha fields to the south. The new flowers were coming up already. Their scent crept under his breather mask. He tightened the mask and tried to take only light breaths. In the evening he returned to his yurt and stared at the roof, unable to sleep. He could not ignore a new and pressing sense that the world was much larger and stranger than he had supposed, that games and happenings were occurring nearby beyond anything he could fit inside his understanding. 16. Johannes woke in the night. His lantern was lit, and in his reading chair sat Ursula. She said, "Nice nose. How'd that happen?" "We're not supposed to talk." She leaned close and examined his face. "You're pretty messed up, aren't you? Was it the chief?" Johannes nodded. Gently she said, "I didn't think the necklace would get you in trouble. Oh, Johannes, I'm sorry." "We're not supposed to talk," he said again. "Do you have anything to drink?" "In the cupboard." She poured them both a whiskey. She necked hers, refilled it. Johannes rolled over and closed his eyes. Ursula said, "Why aren't you curious about the world, Johannes?" "We're not supposed to talk." "I told you that your people existed long before Devas, and you didn't look so surprised." "I was surprised. But you didn't want to know more?" "No, good night." Ursula kicked him not softly. She said, "I tell you what the stars are, and you have no questions. I tell you that your ancestors' machines are falling right out of the heavens, and you only fall asleep. Aren't you curious? Aren't you all burning with wanting to know something beyond your little hut and village? Anaximander's arse, my folk are no different, gummed up ears, yelling la-la over any fact too prickly to pick up. They'd sooner forget the word for fire than fetch a single damn bucket to put their burning houses out. Johannes murmured, "Natives shall not interfere with matters, Devon. An idiotic rule for idiots." "Then I'm an idiot." Slowly she said, "If so, there is something we can do about that. Should you be willing, I'll show you what I see, just for an evening. A little glimpse of Devon's sight." He sat up. "Really?" "Really." He gazed about the room. His farming robes sat waiting on the floor. His shoes sat waiting on the mat. His tea kettle sat waiting on the desk. He looked to the years behind and saw a featureless beige corridor. He looked to the future and saw an identical corridor stretching ahead. Endless hours in the moksha flowers, tilling and sowing, tilling and sowing. Endless hours in the oak tree, drinking and looking, looking and not seeing, hearing and not listening, forever the perpetual, stinging, unnamed sense at the back of his mind that he lived inside a brain too small to understand or even witness the true beauty of the world, and so the only option left was to languish in the self-imposed delusion that objects and errands and little fears and little hopes were the full extent of being alive, else go mad. And Mama gone, and the winter's cold, and every day just comfortable enough to bear the next, and barely. Then death. Ursula said, "Are you willing?" Johannes said, "I'm willing." Ursula collected Johannes's breather mask and peeked out the yurt door. The village quiet, she led them south. The school, the stable, the well, they trod carefully and made little footfall until the village was only a smudge behind. Soon they sighted the newly sowed fields of moksha, the flowers already an inch high, glowing a sleepy purple. Ursula slipped the breather mask onto Johannes's face. She took his hand in her paw. She guided him into one of the larger fields, treading carefully around the flowers, right out into the middle of the moksha. She bent to him and said, "Close your eyes, venerable one." Johannes closed his eyes and Ursula put her paw across them. Johannes felt the paw ripple, the fur recede. Ursula removed her paw. Before Johannes stood a woman of perhaps 30, a foot smaller than he, pale, with black hair in tangles about her shoulders. She was dressed in a Devon robe still, though it was far too big now. She untied the robe and it fell to the floor. She reached for his robe and untied that too. They stood naked, save only for Johannes's breather mask. Ursula placed a hand on the mask and paused. Johannes nodded. She removed the mask. Moksha fumes immediately filled his nose and mouth and eyes. His eyes stung and began to water. His nose and throat were full of fire, and soon his lungs were full of fire also. "I'm dying," he rasped. "I'll die." Ursula held him up, stroked his face. "Breathe," she said. He held his breath. "Breathe. It's okay." He clamped his eyes closed, covered his nose. His lungs were empty of air and burning, his chest full of acid, limbs gone to milk. "Venerable one," came Ursula's distant voice. "Breathe." Finally, he took a desperate gasp of air and cried out and fell to the floor. Consciousness dallied, dimmed, and died. The world and its forms shrank to a point of infinite smallness, and Johannes to infinite smallness also. He was a nothing, all empty. He opened his eyes again. He wiped the tears from them and looked to the world. It was not the world of a moment ago. It morphed from second to second, seed to tree to kindling, baby to man to bones, a stream one could never step in twice, or step in once even, form replacing form forever and never. He looked to the moksha. The flowers were not just flowers, but alive as he was alive. He looked to his arms and legs. They were not just limbs, but bounded manifolds of infinite cooperation, malleable, regenerating, unthanked, and automatic. He looked to Ursula. She was not just a god, not just a woman, but a soul, a mind as he was a mind, so beautiful and good it made him ashamed he would never be as beautiful or as good. Ursula laid down beside Johannes, and he stared into her blue, geometric eyes. She put her mouth on his. They wrapped about each other as though terribly hungry or thirsty or dying, the scent of skin, of mouth, of hair. Everything was new, everything was dancing. In Johannes's low mind he felt light-headed. In his high mind he felt endless. He watched Ursula's skin. He thought, what is skin? It must be made of something, building blocks. And what are those little building blocks made of? How deep does the world go? And he tasted Ursula's mouth. He thought, what is taste, or smell, or sensation for that matter? What is inside me making it real? Is the sensation of me having sensations real, or... Ursula pushed him onto his back, and behind her he saw the night sky, the stars. He thought, what are the heavens? How far do they extend? If I traveled to the edge of the heavens and reached my hand beyond the boundary of space, what would I be reaching into? Would it... Ursula kissed him all over his face. She bit his ear. She bit his shoulder. Keep your head, she said. And he tried to, all stupefied with the new things in him and the new things outside of him. My God, he thought, I'm alive.